What's going on, everyone? So it's official. The Los Angeles Lakers have officially signed DeAndre Ayton. So they've gotten their starting center locked up. Again, I think that this was expected. Said this on several occasions. I believe the Lakers knew that this was happening. It's very clear based on, again, you look at them signing Jake LaRavia and using some of their mid-level exception. You knew that the only way that they would do that is if they knew DeAndre was coming. It doesn't make any sense to do that otherwise, because what happens if he wanted the full mid-level exception? What happens if, something ends up going, like, even if you're working on trades or something, that trade could fall through. I even talked about earlier today in the video that, like, hey, reports are the Lakers are working on active trades. 3 of the targets would be best in a bench role, right? Nick Richards, Robert Williams III, as well as even an Yves Missi, right? I think he's a guy that could be your franchise center going forward in a couple years, but right now I think he'd probably be best suited as your backup. So you go get him, bring in DeAndre Ayton, and now you're set up and square in that regard. But Ayton is the best option that's available out there. Yes, there's some risks that come with him, without a doubt, right? And I'm probably going to do a video breaking down kind of the pros and cons of DeAndre Ayton. I kind of want to dedicate it to a full video, but just like generally speaking, right, he's a guy that there's questions about his motor. There's questions about, his commitment to the game, and he's still a guy that could go get you 18 and 10, right? Imagine what he'd be if he locked in and focused, right? And if anyone could do it, it'd probably be the Lakers with LeBron James, with Luka Doncic, with JJ Redick, getting him squared away, getting him focused. And not just that, this might be his last chance. Now, he's good enough and skilled enough to where I don't think it's going to be one of those things where he's out of the league in a year or two, but the fact him being, the main starter or being a huge part to a team and getting getting the bag and all that stuff, all that could go out the window very quickly. We've seen guys, that have a ton of talent that just teams don't want to deal with, teams don't want to move away from because it's just too much of a headache. If he was Nikola Jokic, teams cut, hey, Jokic didn't come to practice today. It's all right. Tell him to take tomorrow off too, right? Like it's different. There's levels to this, right? And Ayton is good enough, but he's also not proven enough. He's an incredible talent. I think the best version of Ayton we still have yet to see. Honestly, I think that there is a version of DeAndre Ayton that is far and away better than what we thought. And if it works, we might have just gotten our guy for the next 6 years. Right, him and Luka are around the same age. Like, you're talking about the number 1 and the number 3 pick in the draft. Talk about the 2 guys that could, do wonders for this team as far as the growth, upside, and potential. And Ayton, you're not asking him to be the second guy. You're not actually asking him to be the third guy. He's kind of the best of both worlds, too. He's a guy that is the ideal kind of Luka center that could be that lob threat, be that floor runner, right? The guy can jump out the gym, but he can also create a little bit for himself, right? He can knock down the mid-range. He can, drive to the back. He can do things, but he also doesn't need plays ran for him. That's what's important, especially when you have Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, right? Anthony Davis even, you needed plays ran for him. You needed to put him in position to where he could have success, right? And get set up and go to work. Ayton, he can just operate. You can just have him in. Of course, you want to run him in some actions. You want to keep him engaged. You want to keep him involved. But I don't think there was anyone else. Right? There were talks, Milwaukee. I don't think Milwaukee was a real answer. Right? Indiana. I don't think Indiana was a real place. Now, granted, who knows? Again, I'm not an insider. I'm just a guy. But I think it was always the Lakers. And I think the reason I said I thought it was all the Lakers, again, I did a whole video breaking down why I believed it was the Lakers. And I just think that there was enough evidence to show that the Lakers know and everybody knows, and it's the worst kept secret in the NBA, that Ayton is going to the Lakers, right? It's why, again, Clint Capella and all these guys signed. If Clint Capella had a chance to be the starter on the Lakers, he would have signed with the Lakers, right? But then at that point, it's like, okay, I'm going to be a backup regardless now because they're going to go get Ayton, and I could be a backup and make, let's say $5 million a year with the Lakers. That's great, but then you got state tax and everything else. Or I could go to Houston, play the same role, get $8 million a year, and I don't have state tax. Right, so even Brook Lopez, same thing. There are reports that it's because of LeBron or whatever. I don't believe that, right? I don't, and there were talks about him being the starter. Like, I don't think he was. There's no way that the Lakers were going to make him a starter. There was several reports about the Lakers wanting Brook Lopez, and not one of those reports said that they looked at him as a starter. They were looking at him as a backup. They wanted a veteran backup. They wanted Clint Capella and Brook Lopez as a potential backup, or if they traded for a center, they went and got that backup. Ayton does wonders for this team beyond the on-court production. Right? Obviously, the on-court production is really good, but he also does, what he does is now it puts the Lakers in a position of not being the team that is getting leveraged against. Right? Like, I talked about this with Clint Capella, right? But at the time, it was because we didn't know about DeAndre Ayton. Well, now it reigns true with Ayton, right? Like backup center, all of those things that the Lakers need to solve. Lakers have several needs that they need to solve. Personally, I think you just go get Al Horford and then you use your assets to kind of upgrade your starting unit. Can you go get an Andrew Wiggins? Can you maybe go get a Herb Jones? Can you go get, one of these perimeter guys that can kind of help elevate this team? That's ideally what I'd like to see. But regardless, I think that what this does now is we got the reports that, hey, the teams are kind of trying to fleece the Lakers because they know that the Lakers are desperate. Well, guess what the Lakers aren't anymore? They're not desperate anymore. They got their starting center, right, could be the next 6 years. If it works out, we'll see. But they have their starting center, right? And now it's like, okay, well, now we want a backup. We'd love to have Nick Richards as a backup, but we're not going to sell the farm. Well, right now, it's like, until Ayton signed, it was like, well, what are you going to do? You don't even have a center on your roster. So guess what? Price is up. Well, guess what? The prices just went back down. And not even just like the center, but like anything else, right? Ideally, you want to go kind of try to replace a Dorian Finney-Smith. Lakers, I imagine, are still going to fill a couple roster spots. They might have to fill 3-4 roster spots. I think DeAnthony Melton and Al Horford are probably most likely, unless the Lakers trade for a center. Al Horford is probably most likely just because there's not like there's a bunch of options left on the table, right? It's not like there's all these players that the Lakers can sign and all that stuff. But I do think that DeAndre Ayton is a guy that can really, I think he can change this team in a lot of ways, right? To be fair, I do think that there is the potential of him kind of being a distraction, right? If he kind of doesn't get out of his own way. But there is a version of this where the Lakers are terrifying. Again, Lakers were the 3 seed last year with Jackson Hayes as your starting center and then had like 5 different iterations of the Lakers. Lakers just, I talked about this all offseason. Lakers just adding a serviceable center, just a serviceable center alone would do wonders for this Lakers team, right? Because you go from not having a center at all, like a real starting level center, to, hey, here's a competent starting level center, right? Like that is something that I think in and of itself is just elevating for the Lakers. But then you bring in a guy that has the potential to be a 20-10 guy for you and is going to have Luka Doncic setting him up and making him look great all game and all night. Like, this is a match made in heaven for the Lakers. And they didn't have to trade or give up any assets. This is why I preach patience. This is another great example. The first great example was Luka Doncic. Now you got DeAndre Ayton, right? What if the Lakers did what many people wanted them to do? What if the Lakers ran out, went and traded for Nick Claxton, gave up Dalton Connect in a first because we desperately needed a center and teams were trying to gut the Lakers and they listen to the fans, freak out and go, okay, well, we need to do something, right? I'm old enough to remember Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng. Why? Because Mitch Kupchak felt like he needed to do something and it ended up setting us back for years. Yeah, we just finished paying Luol Deng like 3 years ago or whatever. It might be 4 years ago now, but literally forever, right? And this is why you remain patient. But like I always say, the patience only matters if it pays off, right? If you are patient and you find the right moves, bingo. Problem is if you're patient and nothing happens, right? That's when things are become an issue. But no trade is better than a bad trade. No signing is better than a bad signing. We saw that with the Lakers and Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng. Right? Patience is very important. Lakers could have easily ran out, made a big old trade, did a bunch of stuff, gave up a bunch of assets, right? And then been in the position. And then DeAndre Ayton would have became available and everyone would have been like, why did the Lakers not just wait? Right? It's a lose-lose, a catch-22, right? Patience is always the right answer. It's why I try to preach it so much on this channel. I know it's hard, right? I understand that we want the Lakers to do everything and get everybody and do everything all in one swoop. I get it. I get all that. But in all honesty, you gotta stay patient. Patience usually pays off. Rob Pelinka was a guy that had zero patience. Rob Pelinka, earlier in his career, was the kind of guy that just took the first deal available, right? So again, this is great for the Lakers. Right, so we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I'm glad he's on the Lakers now. I'm glad that we solved our center position. I'm glad that we were able to work out a deal to kind of keep him long term. It's just, we really need this to work out, right? I mean, again, this is potentially game changing, right? Like, this is something that Lakers might have just solved their biggest issue for the foreseeable future. Literally. Like, post LeBron, post everything. You at worst will have Luka, Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton. Right? I think that this is huge for the Lakers. Right? But again, it was only huge if it worked. If this happened. If the Lakers actually pulled it off. To their credit, they did. I love it. I'm so happy that they did. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you like the idea of DeAndre Ayton? Do you not? Either way, let me know. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.